All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The beginning of the second half of this Major League Baseball season is not what the New York Yankees wanted, needed, or envisioned. The Yankees are 1-5 in the second half, as after losing 2 out of 3 last weekend in Denver to the Colorado Rockies, New York is licking its wounds as they were just swept on the road in Anaheim by the Angels. The Yankees have now fallen into the basement of the American League East, but it's a little misleading due to the fact that everyone in this division, the Yankees included, currently is in possession of a winning record. However, regardless, this is not a participation contest that you're not just going to be happy to say, yeah, we had a winning record, but we were still in last place. But with that said, New York has to go out there and they have to improve their play soon as they look to hang with the contenders for a postseason spot in the AL. Now, it's tough to point the finger at just one element of this team as far as where things are going wrong for the Yankees right now, as they've had their issues hitting as well as pitching. Over the offseason, the Yankees gave starting pitcher Carlos Rodon $162 million over 6 years. And all that New York has gotten in return from Rodon so far has been an extended time on the injured list to begin the season. While in the 3 starts that he has made this year for New York, he's 0-3 with a 7.36 earned run average, and he's failed to make it out of the sixth inning in any of his starts. You go back to his most recent start this week against the Angels, just 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 6 runs, all earned, and he gave up a pair of home runs. So right now, it is definitely not looking like it was money well spent for the Yankees to go out there after Carlos Rodon. And honestly, even if you take Carlos Rodon out of the equation, the Yankees have not been able to get any consistent pitching in their lineup, with the exception of their ace Garrett Cole. You look at this, pardon me, in their rotation rather, but you look at this lineup, and right now the reigning American League MVP Aaron Judge, he has not been in the Yankees lineup since June 3rd, and he still leads the team in home runs with 19. And during this current stretch that Judge has not been there, New York is just 15-22. We saw the Yankees just prior to the break part ways with hitting coach Dylan Lawson as they brought in former MLB first baseman Sean Casey to be the team's new hitting instructor. Josh Donaldson, the third baseman, might be done for the year with that calf injury, and honestly, with the Yankees altogether. And with the way that things are going for Donaldson recently, and the fact of once you look at his age and his injury history, you might have to wonder, has he not just only played his final game for the Yankees, but in the big leagues altogether? Harrison Bader, he's day to day with a rib contusion after he suffered an injury yesterday against the Angels. And I know that there are calls out there for Yankee team owner Hal Steinbrenner to get rid of either Brian Cashman and or manager Aaron Boone. But I'll tell you like this: those calls are going to fall on deaf ears, and for good reason. I say that from the standpoint that Steinbrenner just re-upped with both Cashman and Aaron Boone. So obviously they're not going anywhere anytime soon. I've said this in the past, and I will continue to say it. Brian Cashman should be thankful that he is dealing with the younger Steinbrenner and, of course, not the father George, because if that were the case, for some of the shortcomings, if you will, of the Yankees during Cashman's time as general manager, Brian Cashman would have been gone a long time ago. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Yankees, you got to go back a while to find the last time that they had a losing record. But it's just the standard that has been set, if you will, for this organization. They have not won since 2009. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to go out there and say that winning a championship is easy. It is far from easy to go out there and win a World Series championship. It's just the fact of the expectation level for the New York Yankees. But nonetheless, the saving grace for Brian Cashman is that he has to deal with Hal and not the boss. But I will say this. It's one of those scenarios where Brian Cashman's not going anywhere anytime soon, and neither is Aaron Boone. We've seen it in recent years where either the Yankees got off to a slow start and picked it up at the end, or they got off to a hot start and cooled off. Right now, they have just been an up and down team. They're still trying to figure it out. They miss Aaron Judge in the middle of that lineup. And at the end of the day, a lot of their guys aren't hitting because it's a Yankee problem. But, excuse me, pardon me, it's also a Major League Baseball problem where guys are not hitting. Guys are simply trying to go out there and swing for the fences. Yes, the Yankees can hit for home runs or hit home runs rather, but they don't hit for average. It's the little things, getting the guys over, working the count, getting, working and getting those hits into the gaps, doing the little things as opposed to trying to go out there and do the big things. The Yankees can hit home runs, but they simply don't have a lot of guys who can hit for average, and it shows in the stats, and it also shows in their inability to get those key hits at those current moments. But with all of that said, the Yankees, for what if you wanted to listen to the mainstream media, if you will, you would think this team was 10 games under 500. No, New York's 50 and 47 right now. It's just the fact that the American League East is so tough. The Tampa Bay Rays are in a slump right now. They just lost again tonight and have completely relinquished away first place to the Baltimore Orioles. But Baltimore is playing some good baseball. Toronto is playing some good baseball. I know that Boston lost their last two in Oakland against the A's, but the Red Sox are one of the surprises this year, which is why they are ahead of the Yankees in the standings. So New York definitely has their work cut out for them to try to catch Baltimore and Tampa Bay at the top of the division. But they're only 3.5 behind the Houston Astros for the final wild card spot in the American League. And we're talking about we still got more than 2 months to go in this regular season. There is plenty of time for a lot of things to be figured out. But if you're the Yankees, you can't just keep kicking the can down the road at this point. You got to get some type of consistency if you want to be a legit playoff team. Right now, this is going to be a very important stretch coming up for the Yankees in these next 5 games because they will host the lowly Kansas City Royals for 3 games this weekend in the Bronx, which will then be followed by them hosting the New York Mets for 2 games. And if you're the Yankees, in my opinion, I think it's going to be very important for them to go out there and win at least 4 of these next 5 games at home, because after that, we're talking about New York going on the road for 3 games at Camden Yards with Baltimore. Then they're home for 3 games with Tampa. And then they have 4 with the Houston Astros. And this is before they begin a 9-game trip versus the Chicago White Sox, Miami Marlins, and Atlanta Braves, who have been playing out of this world. So it's going to be important right now to see what the Yankees are going to look like when they take the field tomorrow against the Royals. Is there going to be a sense of urgency? Are they going to try to go out there and get their business done? And I'll tell you like this: if the Yankees can take 4 out of their next 5 at least, or even possibly 5, then the tenor around this team changes. The feel changes around this team. And I guarantee you, they're going to have more confidence when they take the field in Camden Yards to take the ball to take on the Baltimore Orioles, because Baltimore is playing some darn good baseball right now. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But again, the Yankees, they're just 3.5 behind Houston for that final wild card spot. But let's see if there's going to be a sense of urgency in these next couple of games. The Yankees have to take advantage of facing the Royals this weekend. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's true. And if the Yankees are unable to do that, the Boo Birds will definitely be out in full effect in the Bronx, which is something that they don't want to see. So, at least for the Yankees, they had an off day after coming back from the West Coast with that tough trip. Let's see if they can get their feet under them. Let's see if they can recharge their batteries. And let's see how they look this weekend at home when they take on Kansas City. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 pounds of sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.